My sister's eating disorder is ruining my family. I, M28, have come to the conclusion that my sister, F30, is ruining my family and joy in their lives. To go back to childhood, my sister was always the angel child. Good grades, followed the rules, and was always rewarded for it. My parents even gave her extra Christmas gifts every year, called the perfect girl gift, while I never got one. Not the point of this post, but I wanted to preface this with historically the first 16 years of her life. In 2010 to 2011, she was one of the top female distance runners in the state in track and field, and did her training religiously. She would jump rope at 5 a.m. on weekends before her runs. She was easily bound to be a D1 athlete with her current mile time. She never had a proper dietitian or coach during the off-season, and, as most runners do, she hit a wall in her progress. As a runner myself, I can attest these moments are challenging mentally. This was also the time when my mother was diagnosed with cancer for the first time, and it was hard for both my sister and me to find healthy vices in life. This, however, was a shift in her mindset, and she began eating less and less. As most athletes can attest, this is the opposite of what you should do, and you should look at your diet as fuel to beat your goal. But she was getting thinner and thinner until my parents one day confronted her. She would soon be completing high school in a facility less than an hour from my parents' house, and it was mostly with other young kids similar to her that she looked deathly ill. For context, this place was a psychiatric hospital where they took away your shoelaces, drew strings in hoodies, etc. Visitation hours and reservations were needed, and she had limitations on phone calls, bathroom access, etc. They put her on strict diets and would report to my family when they caught her cheating by hiding food, spitting it out, etc. This was over 15 years ago now, and she is still jumping from facility to facility. She has been to dozens of programs across the country only to get out, relapse, and put more of a toll on my family. My family is now helping my sister with her divorce, taking her back under their roof and going to watch her fail again as she goes to another facility. She can't maintain a job, relationship, or anything. Her mental acuity has dwindled, and she can't even think straight anymore from the damage she has done to her body. Here is the part that kills me. I have seen the light in my parents' eyes dull. They are getting older, and somehow their dreams have dulled more than expanded. Even with all the money they have for retirement, all my mom can think about is how she is going to take care of my sister in her old age. One thing I would bond with my mom over is her interest in moving somewhere new and exciting in retirement, and now she can't stomach the conversation because she is stuck with taking care of my sister. I hate to say it, but at what point do you quit caring? Over half her life has been sick, and she will most likely never get better. The truth of the matter is, at this rate, my parents are going to die with stress, worry, and a hush of their former selves. They worked too hard to let my sister ruin their lives. She became a spoiled brat, my parents' words, not mine, and she has no right to get the entitlement she gets from my parents. If I was her only hope for a roof over her head, I would say no. TLDR. My entitled sister with an eating disorder is ruining my parents' golden years of retirement with her endless drama and constant need for attention. My dad didn't do anything when I got assaulted in front of him, and I don't think I'll ever forgive him. It wasn't something huge or life-altering, but regardless of the severity of the assault, you'd think a father would step in after seeing it happen. We went to my stepmom's uncle's house. He's decently rich, has no kids, has a pool, popcorn machine, a boat, and a man cave type of garage. I truly believe his family tolerates his weirdness and inappropriate comments, questions, because of his money. If he didn't have all of this to offer, he wouldn't be tolerated the way he is. I was warned of his strangeness by my stepmother. She said when he greets people, he grabs their ears. He holds on to people's earlobes and massages them before letting go. He has done it since he was a child. No one ever stopped him, so he continued doing it. I was 15/16 at the time. We were all hanging around his pool. I'm standing in front of the bar area, and he lands the hardest slap on my ass I've ever encountered, which I hadn't before. I was 16, the oldest. In a bathing suit, with not a ton of coverage on my ass to begin with, he slapped me so hard it leaves a handprint. My dad stood a foot away from me and did absolutely nothing. My stepmother's mom was in the pool right behind us and said nothing. My stepmom was lounging somewhere around us and said nothing. I can't pitch a fit because we're at a rich family member's house. We want to be invited back again to hang out with everyone. I never tried to make a big deal about it because that's all it was. He didn't grope me or do anything worse. He just hit me. Anytime we visited him again, I stayed clothed and distanced from him. It was almost like he knew I was keeping my distance from him. He'd practically circle me like a shark throughout our stay. We stayed the night at their house once, and I didn't sleep the entire time. I couldn't tell my mom about it because I didn't want to worry her or have her flip out at my dad, although I should have. Hell, I should have flipped out when it happened, but I was convinced I was overreacting because no one had a reaction. I am wrong for asking my roommate to return my money. Hi, me and my other roommates are staying together in a house under my lease. They refuse to be on the lease due to extra fees for filling up the form. I usually collect all the amount and pay the rent before it's due. Cut to December. There was one roommate who promised to pay half of the amount of his share later, which I did accept. He moved out at the end of December. I informed him in January that rent is due for next month, so I need my money. He did not respond. I still tried to communicate, but he did not respond. After 3 days, I contacted one of our colleagues and informed him about the situation. After that, my ex-roommate reached out to me and said he would pay, but first he needed money. I told him his ghosting wasn't right, and he should be communicating what was the problem. After which, he informed he don't have money, and he couldn't give any because he had borrowed a lot from others, and no one was paying him. I asked him when I could expect to get my money back, as I am also struggling with my job, and couldn't help him and just keep waiting. He refused and said he couldn't do anything. After which, I told him I had to go to a small claims court if he was not ready to discuss any deadlines or payment installments, upon which he asked me for 1 month's time to make some payback, which I accepted. I told this to another roommate, and he was like, I shouldn't be harassing someone for the money. Well, he did not take anything from him anyway. I am torn between the fact that it is right or wrong.